Which brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about, and that's just the whole future of reselling in general. I'm definitely not one of those people who think that reselling is doomed and it's just going to come to an end and all resellers are going to go out of business and have nothing to sell. That's just foolishness. I mean, if you look over the course of history, people have been reselling since there's been things to resell. So there's always going to be a market for used items, because some people want, certain types of things, but they don't want to pay full market price for those things. And so they'll be willing to pay to get those same items at a discount, and especially if they're in really good condition. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you're looking at the landscape right now, you got a lot of layoffs going on, right? Walmart's announcing, was it? Almost 2,000 more layoffs or something like that. Company after company making layoffs. A lot of these companies, I think I heard something where it said Walmart within the next 3 years is going to be 85% of the store is going to be automated. I don't know, something like that. In other words, they're trying to move away from having so many people working and automating the process, right? What does that mean? A lot of people out of jobs. That's a whole nother conversation, because I feel like as an individual, you need to be giving yourself skills so that you don't have to worry about a job like Walmart. If you worried that the robots are going to take over your job, then do something about it. And that means making yourself better in some way and making yourself more valuable. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But you got the layoffs. You got shipping rates. They're going up all the time. The USPS is talking about this whole new shipping thing where they got the I don't know what it's called, ground something. But I mean, everybody's heard about it at this point. It's supposed to be going into effect somewhere in July, this summer sometime. And who knows what those rates are going to look like. Maybe they'll be beneficial. Maybe they won't. I mean, but as an entrepreneur, that's just another thing that you have to figure out how you're going to adjust and adapt to. Thrift prices, right? The thrift stores ain't getting no cheaper these days. I don't do a lot of thrifting myself, but I watch enough YouTubers to know that the prices ain't going down. That's for damn sure, right? What else? Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage in general. Those prices ain't right. Stores ain't lowering their prices either. I mean, if you go to places like Ollie's and all of that, those prices is up, And what I've been noticing about a lot of those prices is that they still a little bit lower than your online platforms and stuff. But they're not making it where you got really any room for no profit. After the fees and stuff, you really ain't making nothing. But there still are people out there making a living off of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and they're doing really well. And they're just adjusting and adapting. And so, as far as I'm concerned, man, the future of reselling, honestly, despite all of that, as far as I'm concerned, the future of reselling looks great. Despite the fact that whether you want to, say we're in a recession, we're headed for a recession, and the economy's going to get worse, there are opportunities in everything. And unfortunately, even when there's layoffs in a bad economy, a depressed economy, there's even opportunities in that. However, though, what I do think when it comes to the future of reselling is this. Reselling is going to survive. It's going to be around forever. As long as there's things to be sold, as long as there's a demand for, secondhand products, not even just secondhand products, even newer products at a good price point. But as long as there's a demand for secondhand products at a good price that people can have nice things without having to pay a crazy price for it, reselling ain't going nowhere. But as far as the future of reselling when it comes to the sorts of items that are profitable, that's going to be changing dramatically, of course. And so especially if the rates are going up, if this USPS thing don't work out the way, some of us would want it to, the future of reselling is going to change in that aspect to where you're just going to have to adjust your business model. If you want to do this long term, then you have to be thinking that way. Reselling is not going anywhere. What's going to change is the types of items that are profitable to sell. Whereas you may have been able to, like even with the thrift stores, where you can go there and you can get this and you can get that and make all this profit like it used to be maybe pre-COVID. It ain't that way no more, right? Same way with retail arbitrage. And so whatever type of, you just got to you might have to be more specific about what you want to sell. You can say niche down, whatever, become more of an expert in the type of item that you're offering. And it might take a little more work. And so what this might do is this may make it, I don't want to say less competitive, but maybe it'll make it less saturated. Let's say that. Less saturated in the sense that because of the fact you'll have to probably put more work and effort into what it takes to be successful, people may not be wanting to go through all of that as much. I think that the people who are willing to scale their business, right? Who are willing to become more expert in the types of items that they sell, in the types of niche that they sell in, and things like that, who can find sources that they can get bulk items at a lower price. And I mean, this is the case regardless, but I think even more so going forward when it comes to the future of reselling, those are the people that are going to be more successful. I was reading through some comments in a YouTube video, and I forget whose channel I was watching, but they were just talking about, the conversation was pretty much around this type of thing as far as reselling goes and future reselling and so on and so forth. And then one of the commenters said, oh, it's all big sellers and this and that, and kind of in a way where they're blaming the big sellers basically, I guess, for being big sellers and messing up the market, if that makes sense, which it doesn't. And I responded to that comment a little bit, and what it just made me think about is this: like if the name of the game is to grow your business to be competitive, then that's the name of the game. And if you ain't willing to play that game, then you might not want to get involved, right? If that ain't the game you're willing to play, then you might not want to get involved in the first place. I mean, it's just that simple. But that might be how it's going. It's going to probably depend on the niche that you in and things like that, right? But you can't blame the bigger sellers for figuring out what it's going to take to eliminate their competition and increase their profits and grow their business. You can't blame them for that. I mean, I don't. And the way I look at it, because I'm a competitive person, I got a competitive personality. I'm just like, okay, well, if this is something I'm going to do, then I'm not going to, I got to figure it out. And if this is what they're doing, then I got to step my game up. Simple as that. And if I just want to do this recreationally, and this ain't even geared toward maybe people who want to do this recreationally or for fun or anything like that. If you're just doing this as a hobby for fun, then you ain't even involved in none of this. I'm talking about people who want to do this as a business and serious about it. And you can do this as a business part-time too. So just because you're doing it part-time don't mean it ain't a business. It's just a part-time business. And of course, if you're doing it full-time, then I will assume that it's a business to you. But either way, as a business owner, small business owner, whatever you want to call it, then you got to be thinking that if this is the way you see things going in the niche or in the industry, then what do you have to do to be competitive? What do you have to do to ensure the survival of your business? This is what you need to be asking yourself. What do I need to do to ensure the survival of my business? And if that means I need to sell more stuff to survive, then you got to sell more stuff to survive. Which leads to the problem of how do you get the stuff to sell? Look, that's all up to you to figure out. These are questions that I ask myself all the time. and that I'm always trying to focus on and work on, because I'm determined to make this thing work and just to make it happen, man. And so, as far as I'm concerned, despite the layoffs, despite prices going up, despite shipping and things like that, maybe, going up and maybe not being in our favor, I think the future of reselling is good. I think the future of reselling is bright. I think that there is going to be a lot of opportunities coming for those who are looking, for those who are paying attention, for those who are putting in the time and the effort, for those who are becoming experts in their categories, in their niches. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. And those who aren't, those who are just kind of like focusing more on the negative than the positive, those who are paying more attention to what's wrong with the industry instead of what can I do to make my business better, well then, those people are going to die off. And thank God. Seriously. We need some of these people who just don't know what's going on and be out the way. It's like when I go to the gym, right? I hate going to the gym during peak hours, man, because like there's all these people. they be just holding up the machines, yo. Like they be on the machine, they got their phone in their hand, and it's like 5 minutes between the set. And it's like, bro, can you go over there and look at your phone and let me use this machine? Or this is what I really hate, right? I'll be using something, right? I might be using some ropes or whatever, right? And then for me, like between sets, I don't like to stand still. So I feel like always got to be in motion. So for me, between my sets, I might take a little walk around the machine, or I might just kind of, move around a little bit. And so I might do a little small lap around the machine. By the time I get back, somebody's there. It's like, and they ain't even doing nothing. Depending on how I feel, man, sometimes I say something, and sometimes I might be like if I was almost done anyway with that particular thing, I might just move on and be like, they in the way. They in the way, bro. They in the way. They don't know what they doing. They just kind of like let the people who serious about this do what they gotta do. And that's what annoys me. Like, it's one thing if you serious about it and you just kind of using the machine and you there for a minute, like I don't even care about that. It's just when you ain't even doing what you supposed to be doing. And so that's how I feel about a lot of resellers, man. They in the way. They price tanking. They kind of like just making it harder for those of us who are serious, who trying to get this work out, right? Who trying to put this work in. And as far as I'm concerned, those people, they can go bye-bye. A lot of people, they just want you to tell them what to buy, where to buy it, this and that. And this ain't got nothing to do with like trying to learn and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I love people who want to learn so they can do things for themselves, right? The type of people who are like, man, look, you ain't even got to give me the fish. Just teach me how to fish and I'll figure it out for myself, right? Just teach me how to fish. Show me what you do to catch the fish and I got it from there. Those are the type of people I like. Not the, hey man, you got something to eat. You got time for that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as far as like the future of reselling and things like that. Like reselling ain't going nowhere. I think it is going to be more and more competitive. However, I don't think it's going to necessarily be like I'm not focused on the people who ain't serious. Like when I go to the gym, yeah, there's people on my way, but like that don't stop my workout. That don't I might have planned to use that machine at that moment, but because they're in the way, they're doing whatever, I'm gonna go do something else, and that's still going to be me working toward my goal of staying in shape. And I kind of feel like you got to take that approach of reselling. It's like, all right, yeah, you got some of these people in the way, you got the price tankers, but what can you do in your business to where those things really don't affect the growth of your business and the health of your business? Just let them do them. Look, they're going to go out of business and they're going to be out of the way soon enough. Trust me. Let them cry and whine and do all that they're doing and get them out the way. But that ain't what you need to be focusing on when it comes to your reselling business. You need to just fight that feeling to get involved in that and get involved in the crying game and always be figuring out what can I do to make it to where this doesn't affect me and I just shoot past these people regardless. And so I don't care about the big sellers. I'm trying to be one of those big sellers. That's my focus. If the big sellers is the ones making it harder for the small sellers, then I need to become a big seller. That's how I look at it. I need to be a big seller because apparently that's the way to go, right? Nah, I ain't trying to be the small seller crying and whining and complaining about stuff. All right, and that kind of takes me to, I was going to save this one for last, but I'm going to go to this one next, which is the success rates of small businesses. Now, I already